What is going on, Rise of Kingdoms fans? Wispy here, and today we finally got an answer for the update that they sent out yesterday, saying that they were going to cap the amount of resources you can transfer, loot from other cities, as well as they were going to increase the amount of resources per resource level node and how fast you can farm those resources. Basically saying that they were coming out and starting the war on resource sellers. And if you didn't see our video yesterday, I would definitely check it out. It definitely breaks it down and we give our honest opinion, and it will get you all caught up if you're unsure of what is going on. But literally the following day, they gave us an answer of what that cap would be. I don't know why they would wait a day. Why not just put the cap with the original thing instead of giving the entire Rise of Kingdoms community 24 hours to literally lose their freaking minds over this? Well, this update, they finally answer it the next day. It's the update 1.0.49 summer chapter. It's basically going to explain the summer festival event. From looking at it, looks like it's just going to be the 7,000. You spend 7,000 gems, you do some events, you get some certain currency, you exchange that, get some gold heads, get your gems back, stuff like that. You can look into that. It has some KVK like adjustments for March of Ages, Strife of 8, and Light versus Darkness. I'm not going to go through all that because you guys are here for the resource cap, and I want to get straight to the point. You guys, it's on the Rock forum in the game. You can check it out if you want to read further into it like the rest of it. But when it comes to the resource points, what they're going to do is they're going to increase each level node by 25%, which is nice. It means you won't have to check in to the game as often. The gathering speed is going to be increased by 10%. So basically, you won't have to log in every hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes to send your gatherers out. That would be pretty nice. I didn't really mind that, but I know some players, they hate logging in every hour or so to send out their gatherers, especially if they have a bunch of farms. Here's the juicy part, though. This is the meat of it. This is what you all clicked on the video to hear me talk about. You can only send/receive 200 million resources, and you can only plunder 200 million resources from a city for a total of 400 million resources. So you can only get 400 million resources total from either receiving resources or taking it from another city. My honest opinion, this is not, it's not good. It's too low. It's too low. Like, I mean, one of my farms sends over 200 million resources when I transfer anyways, and I have more than one farm. It's just too low, especially when literally in the update that they sent yesterday, they talked about how they noticed that people were going into these extremely hard KVKs and people were struggling for resources. Well, now they're going to struggle more when they can only receive 200 million each day. So this morning when I woke up, this is what I do every morning. I wake up, I look at my YouTube, I respond to all comments that I received while I was asleep. I also do this before I go to bed. It's kind of like a tradition thing that I do. And I also browse through my YouTube homepage to see what new has come out. And OmniArc already put a video out on this, and I think he did a really good job. The suggestions he made were really good. I agreed with pretty much all of them. Like, basically, the cap should be you can only send 200 million resources, not receive 200 million resources. So if you're in a big, heavy fight, you could have a group of people that each donate you 200 million resources, and then your big players can get back into the fight. Now, if you're only limiting those big fighters of receiving 200 million a day, maybe 400 total if you could do it right before and after reset, but even still, that's not a whole lot. 400 million, it's just not a lot, because you got to think it's spread across 4 different resources. So technically only 100 million of each, if you want to look at it that way. It's not a whole lot. It's not going to keep you in the fight. It's not going to keep you going. You're not going to be able to sustain heavy wars, which is what everybody seems to be going into nowadays. So it should be, you can only send 200 million resources, and that would stop resource sellers. It really would, because if they can only send 200 million resources, well then who cares? Like, why would you buy that from them when you could receive that from a player pretty easily that usually donates during wartime anyways? So I feel like that would help. Also, another suggestion that was made that was really good is make it to where you have to have maybe one T5 troop unlocked, and then you could send like unlimited amount of resources. Because let's be honest, most resource sellers, their accounts are really low powered. They're usually like no more than like 1 or 2 million power, like super low, because they're trying to save all those resources so they can sell them. You could also do it in the economic tree, and maybe make it to where you have to reach a certain point in the economic tree, because again, they're not wanting to spend their resources to build up their accounts. They just want to get it to a certain point where they can farm decently and then sell those resources. So they're not actually trying to build and grow their accounts, because if you're doing it free to play to get your first T5 troop, because let's be honest, they're not going to be spending money on a resource selling account. That would be the only way to get T5 really fast. And also, like, they're just not trying to spend those resources. So there should be a certain point that you get to where there's no cap. There's no cap at all. And that would help a ton, because then that would only apply to resource sellers and not to actual regular players. I also think that Lilith should find a way to determine, like, all these are under one email, under one account. So maybe make it to where any accounts under one email like this, long as you're sending it to another account under that like login, that there's no cap. That would be nice. That would help people with farms. There wouldn't be a cap, because you would be able to determine, oh, all these accounts are linked and we know this main account is legit. Like, that's another thing that I would do. I think it would help. But yeah, 200 for transferring / receiving and 200 from plundering, it's just too low in my opinion. I think it should have been at least 500 million, because even that really isn't that much. But at least maybe I could transfer 2 of my farms. You know, I could do 2 a day, and that would be very beneficial. But the way it stands now is I would have to do like 1 a day, and I would have to do it pretty frequently. Let me know what you guys think. If you think the 200 million is too low, I think it is. And if you think that they will stick with that 200 million mark. Also, if you guys can think of any like requirements like I came up with and OmniArc came up with, to where there wouldn't be a cap, like if you reach a certain point, if you have a better idea or you think there's one that I should have mentioned that I missed, don't forget to leave that in the comments as well. Also, don't forget to like the video, and we will be streaming the Guan wheel later today. We're going to spin that right before reset and right after. Feel free to come by, talk to me in person live about the resource update and how you guys think about it. I'm not a sponsor content creator, so I'm going to give my honest opinion on everything, so you can feel free to give me your honest opinion. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. But until next time, I'm Wispy Gaming. I'll see you guys in the next video.